Hello YouTube, I am Torstein from Cinema Terror, and as I usually do, I've been digging around for some more obscurities to do a video about. The movie of today is from 1989, and it is called Runaway Dreams. Runaway Dreams centers around the 15-year-old girl Tracy, played by Jennifer Gorey, who are tired of her abusive home life with a mother who doesn't seem to care, and a stepdad that abuses her in the worst way possible. She decides to run away, but it doesn't take long before she finds out that life on the street can be just as, if not even more, dangerous and abusive.
I'd take you with me if I could. Believe me, I hate to leave you here. Don't, Trace, you can't. Where will you go? I don't know.
Tracy quickly finds herself in a situation where she has no place to stay, and no one to ask for help. She gets involved with the nasty street pimp Jay, played by Brian Tarantina. It doesn't take long before he starts to put her to work in these filthy streets. But things go even more dark when Tracy's 13-year-old sister Denise suddenly shows up at the door. Runaway Dreams takes the important topic of runaway teenagers and treats it surprisingly serious. I kind of expected this forgotten film to be forgotten for a reason, like being too amateurish and poorly put together, making the film become a sleazefest or something like that. But that's absolutely not the case with Runaway Dreams. This is handled by filmmakers who obviously cared about the topic and wanted to shed some light on it. This can be seen in how the disturbing sexual scenes are handled. There is very brief nudity, no attempt to making any of it look enticing, and they don't keep the camera rolling for more than necessary when they happen. That does not mean that when these scenes happen that it isn't disturbing to sit through though.
You're trying to put me out of business, bitch? It's been tried, trust me. It will never happen, not you and not another dozen like you.
But they did restrain themselves from entering bad taste or exploitation territory. The answer to why it didn't do what most low-budget films do in that regards is perhaps found by looking closer at the creators of it. The director of the film is Michelle Noble, and unless IMDb has messed up and combined two people with the same name, then she went on to be a political activist, taking stand against injustice and inequality and all the things that you would have expected us humans to have in place by now, but sadly do not. That makes sense when you watch Runaway Dreams, as again, this feels like a film made by someone who wanted to bring a subject matter to light and not an opportunist who wanted to make some money off a controversial topic. I should also mention that the script comes from the British writer John Hopkins, who was 58 at the time the movie went into production. He has written stuff for TV shows, stage plays, and even wrote the script for the James Bond movie Thunderball, so he's not exactly someone who would deliver something sleazy or trashy.
Who are you talking to?
Is that Mom? It's Tracy.
I have nothing to say to her.
Tell her.
After running away, what does she think? She treats us like that? When she's ready to come home?
That doesn't mean that they didn't get in trouble during production though. I found an old article that I'm going to put a link to in the description box below about how city officials of Fort Lauderdale shut down their production due to them not agreeing on taking out a rape scene in the film and thinking this film would hurt the reputation of the place. I really like the quote from producer Frank Little in the article. He says, "Runaway Dreams is not exploitative, but rather it focuses on how runaways are exploited." Well said. Praise for intentions aside, there are things left to be desired in the filmmaking aspect of the film. The same mentioned article reports that they had a budget of about $1 million for the film, and it doesn't show that much in the final product. Of course they should be excused for having problem filming where they wanted and originally intended, but the lack of authentic locations does hurt the final film. I think there could have been more done to portray these gritty streets and made them more dirty, like how the earlier exploitation films that were filmed in the 42nd Streets in New York was able to. They nearly make you feel a stench of urine when you watch them, and Runaway Dreams are not able to do the same. Which, to be fair, is not the easiest task in the world, mind you. I also think it would have benefited from being structured a bit differently. The film starts with Tracy running away from home, after we get a quick glimpse of what terror she's running away from. I would have liked it if we could at least have gotten 10 or 15 minutes to set up the characters more before this happened, and perhaps have some scenes where Tracy's actually having a nice life. Start before her mother gets together with Tracy Chidry's stepfather or something like that. The ending also felt really rushed and didn't work at all. It is supposed to hit you right in your stomach, but had very little effect on me due to the way it was executed. It also felt left very open and not like a conclusion to the story, and I think the entire last 10-15 minutes could have been reworked into something more solid with a better emotional punch. I gotta give respect to Jennifer Gorey for taking on the part as Tracy. This could not have been an easy task to take on for a young actress. She had only done one movie before this with the comedy Senior Week 2 years prior, where she also played a character named Tracy. You will automatically feel for her in Runaway Dreams, just due to how tired and affected she looks after being put through so much shit. It's heartbreaking to see her go through this, as you can see that this is a kid that could have been happy and outgoing in a better environment. It's too bad that this was her last acting job, as she did deserve to get more work after her performance in this one. I also need to mention Caitlin Hopkins' character Francine. She's the older one who both was forced into bringing Tracy to her pimp, but also take care and guide her once Tracy was made to work in the streets. You can see that Francine is what Tracy eventually will turn into the longer she's out there, and it's a tragic, lonely future to look for. Also, Brian Tarantino is great as the egotistical pimp Jay. And I wish we got more scenes with Jeremiah Burkett in his brief but lively performance as a male street worker, as he was absolutely killing it when he was on screen.
In some place to lay your weary head. No, am I getting warm? And someone whose only thought is of taking care of you. Now, is that too much to ask? And love. Tons and tons of love.
There is some fun 80s tunes to be enjoyed in the film, including the theme song by Kipper from One Nation. They don't always match the tone of what's going on in the film, especially during the end, but it's overall a nice soundtrack that gets you into the 80s mood. Runaway Dreams surprised me on several levels. I am surprised at how professional and serious the filmmakers handle the subject matter, and I'm also surprised that this film is not out on DVD or Blu-ray. Hell, it doesn't even have its own page on Letterboxd, although that's something I will get right on fixing. While it's not a hidden classic or anything, it absolutely deserves to get a decent treatment and become available to more people.
Well, she's making money.
Maybe I could find some work for you to do.
Tracy wouldn't like that very much.
Does she have to know?
Runaway Dreams is a solid portrayal of the serious problem regarding teen runaways. From what I read, up to 3 million teens run away from their home in the US each year, so it's not like this is a problem that has went away since this movie was created. While Runaway Dreams doesn't manage to hit all the buttons it tries to, it is still well worth checking out, and I'm giving it a good score of 3.5 out of 5. Has anyone else out there actually seen this film? If you have, what did you think of it? Any other films like this out there that more people need to check out? The comment section of my videos usually have plenty of space, so feel free to go wild on the keyboard with your thoughts. And if you like this video and want more reviews of movies in a similar vein, then pressing that like button does get my attention. Hope you're having a lovely day, and as always, thank you for watching Cinema Terror.